You can see that we're putting up our street signs that we've talked about last couple times. If you have noticed some places that don't have two signs, you know, they're all double-sided, and we're putting them on the corners. And I think there's something how Joe's figured out these street signs that they had a master plan, which we didn't get, I guess. And so we're a little short on some of these signs that we're putting up, maybe 15 signs or so far, and we haven't done Southgate yet. So we're getting this thing from Job's, and some of these signs may have to be moved around, or we may have to end up ordering some more so we can have both sides. But they just put them up like they did before, and we don't have enough signs in some places. I know one's at maybe Barb, and I guess that's Liberty there.
Colonial and Oberlin is missing one.
Missing one.
Oberlin and Oberlin and Oberlin and Oberlin is missing one.
Missing Oberlin.
The intersection of Oberlin and Oberlin.
Well, you put up Western 5, that looks good. You might have to order.
The sign, yeah, well, we may, or we're going to have to go to their plan and take them up and put them the way they wanted. But some of the guys didn't agree with how Joe's wanted, so it's going to be a meeting of minds to get all that figured out.
Okay.
I think they look like they're a little short, but I thought they should be up in the air a little bit more. But then those guys were saying a lot of those places, you know, Job's called for 2 posts for the signs because, you know, you got to put 6-inch and 4-inch letters. Those are huge.
Yeah,
huge
some of these signs are long.
You can see them though. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't do this anymore. So.
What is it, Japanese that you read top to bottom? Is that
It's this way, Bob. You got to see this. Left to right, not right to left.
So we're going to look at all that and we'll get it figured out. But it's a job. It's a job to get all those up because there's a ton of those signs. But it was a great thing. I mean, we got all that money, so that was a great thing.
what is the? I mean, when a new sign goes in, does the sign right there come out, or do you have a crew that puts signs in and another crew that takes signs out?
They left the signs there and they're going back and getting them because some of them you can pull out yourself. Some of them you may need the backhoe to pull them out.
Yeah.
So they just didn't mess with it. They're
Okay.
going back and pulling them out.
That's fine.
That's what I asked that same question. So
That's fine.
it's like you're there. Can you get out? Well, sometimes we can. Sometimes we can't. And they didn't want to take another piece of equipment with them to do that. So.
Plus, to take them out, then you have a hole that you have to fill with something.
Yeah.
You don't have the a truck.
Time-consuming job.
Yeah. It is. But they do look good. They look really good. So we'll get that figured out. And Susan Derwachter from Joe called me, so I think I'll get back with her. I called her on Thursday or Friday because I asked Dave those questions, you know, just driving around, go, we don't have a sign on this when they want. So that's what he said. They just didn't have enough of them. But maybe it was the way that Joe decided how they were going to put them out. So we have to come to the same page with that. So
While we're on the street signs, we already had a discussion probably with people that do want the street signs. I was thinking maybe a $10 cost, $10 charge for them. They're 8 foot. We figured they're
$10.
8.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see what a 6x6 and find out how long they are. Are they 8 foot or 10 foot or what length they are?
Treated.
I'll find out here. I'll see if I can find out.
Oh, okay. What the wood would be?
Yeah.
Treated lumber 6.
I think it's 6. I think they're 6 by 6, aren't they? We've done.
They're 6x6. I'm just not sure if they're 8 feet long or 10 foot long.
I would say 8 or 10.
I think
They're longer than what you think.
Yeah, because you gotta have at least 2 in the ground. So.
There's at least 2 to 3 foot in the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're. I'm pretty sure that one's about 6 foot out of the ground at least. Maybe
they're probably 8 foot or 2 foot in the ground.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 10 or 3
6s.
I'm trying to remember when I had to move that one time because they took cars out and switched them around the neighborhood. I remember picking the one up, but I can't remember how long it was.
I've never really been around them. That's all I want to do is get rid of them. That's all I ever want to do.
And sometimes the kids would take them out and they turn them around 90 degrees.
Can we say that it'd be on a first come, first served basis?
Well, I mean, just brainstorming it for all
I don't know.
of 90 seconds. I would say, I don't know, about $10. I'd say
I was thinking
20,
20 or
25.
25, but that, you know,
And maybe what we do is we can set up an email account, and we can say, you know, just publicize, here's the email address. If you're interested in purchasing one of the wooden, you know, street
Old
signs
signs,
that have been taken out of the ground, we're not going to create a new one for you. But if it's been taken out of the ground and replaced, then, you know, beginning at 12:01 a.m. on pick a day, we will go first come first serve on who is buying the signs. And I would say maybe limit it to just, you know, one sign per person, so you don't have one person that buys 85 of the signs and then sells them for $50 a pop.
Although I wouldn't really care if they bought them all. You know, if you get one person to buy them all, that'd be good.
Yeah, you can do what you
The
want.
only hassle I can see is like this person that won this Walton Drive or whatever it was. Okay,
Walton.
and let's say I won Overland one. Okay, well, his guys take them out, and there's a pile now
oh yeah.
of 100 or 200 of these things laying in a yard. Who's going to sort through to find the right one? You know what I'm saying?
Walden, yeah.
Because if we'd done this ahead of time before they took them out, then as they took them
You
out,
have a differing opinion on this idea?
I would be surprised if anybody wants them, but y'all see, maybe, I think Tim's got his eye on one.
I
think it's
I
pretty
mean,
I've
clear,
seen
but-
I've seen people with old
I'm still
fire
checking.
hydrants that they buy just to put in their
Traffic
yard
lights.
as a
We have one
flower.
at my house.
Yeah, I mean I know when I worked at the
Traffic lights. I mean,
Yeah, I
we,
mean it's.
we sell traffic lights and have had success, but
And
it
you know
may-
what? If we sell them, we sell them, and if we don't, we don't. And
Yeah.
You could always eBay them for an auction. Just saying.
I'm just saying to give the Heath residents a chance first to buy it. Like this lady wants one side. You know, maybe we sell 10 of them, maybe we sell 20. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the hardest part's going to be, like I said,
Yeah,
is
like he's saying.
trying to sort through them all to find that one that they want.
Yeah.
If we do ahead of time, then as these guys take them out, they can stack them off the side. Like, well,
Yeah.
when you get Walton, put it on this pile. When you
Yeah.
get, you know, but he's going to be taking them out now, and they can't.
I think what she wanted
Sort of.
was just that top of it, you know, it says Walden Road.
There's no time. Well, we don't have them.
There's no, there's not.
you talking about like new signs?
You're talking.
No.
See, all it is a
Oh,
post that
it's on
says
post.
Walden like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything up the top of it.
Yeah.
I think the thing to do is to advertise that you're gonna sell them and sell them at the auction. If somebody wants their sign, what you do is you sell them at so much, you know, you start the bidding, and whoever wins the bidding gets their choice
Yeah.
and can take as many as they want. And if the
Oh,
bidding,
so if you
the
really want
bidding-
that name, you might have to bid a whole bunch of money just to
Well,
get the first
you-
choice. One at, you know, I won't
well,
want it.
yeah.
But then how are you going to haul them all over to the auction site?
That's what I was gonna say. We're not gonna move
Yeah, you're gonna
twice.
move them twice. That's-
I don't-
See, you
I
gotta
find
do-
out.
I'm still waiting, sorry.
I don't believe there's gonna be near the market you guys think.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm totally,
I don't think we'll sell everyone, but I think there will be people.
But I think
that will
the
want it.
people that will, that,
There'll be
like
some
this
people that
lady has
want it.
made the effort to say, hey, I'd like to have that street sign.
Yeah.
Then we ought to say, I think we ought to put a price on it and say, okay, I don't even think it's probably out of the ground yet.
I don't know.
You know.
It's probably not if it's in the Southgate area. No.
Well, yeah, we haven't put those up yet.
Yeah.
The last time
See,
I
those would be
saw
great if so that because when they go take it out, they just take it out and lay it on the lady's yard or doorstep or whatever.
There you go.
And get a check for $25 and away we go.
There you go.
I don't think that's out of the ordinary to say $20, $25. I really don't.
I don't either. I don't either.
Like you said, you make it
Keep
too
that
high, you
name
won't
by
I
sell
don't
very
think
many.
anybody will buy them for $25, but you might have 2 or 3, but if you go advertising this and coming up with this system and go through the legislation and you sell 3 of them,
It's not worth it.
I'd be surprised. And, you know, sometimes at these auctions I've held, I'm surprised at how much some stuff brings. And
Did we have to do
Surprise.
legislation to sell them?
I
do it.
authorize
This. Yeah. Probably.
They're not fixed assets,
I
but
d-
they're, I think if especially if you're gonna specify a price, you've gotta do legislation.
What what would you do with if we didn't sell any of them? Okay, and Bob takes them all back to the street department, and they're just stacked there. What do we ever do with them?
Burn them.
Yeah, you can't burn them in the tree. I mean,
We
you know,
just use them in case we need.
for shoring or something. I mean, what would you ever? I mean,
just that kind of stuff.
I mean, they would
you
just
know?
sit around forever and ever and ever, and it's just taking up.
Just
And we
rot.
might still have. I mean, if we sell only 20, you're still going to have hundreds of them sitting around forever and ever. You know.
I'd try to get rid of it.
I think
Yeah.
if you get someone to ask for one, you know, just accidentally fall off the truck when you drive down the street.
Thinking that,
What I
think
think.
that house over by you, they could make a deck with all the new streets
Yeah.
showing.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool, yeah.
So I think you can make raised flower beds out of them and stuff, or plantings for gardens and stuff. You know, you just stack them up. You don't care if the names show or not.
So legislation
You know,
on that would be.
You know anyone that needs raised flower beds?
So we
like
have
the community gardens or something?
Buying a post would probably cost you about $30, but finished up with lettering on it, as far as the sign would be, you're probably looking about 200. That's with it routed and everything. That's just the finished product. You're selling a product that's at least 15 plus years old. So I'm just giving you the ballpark of where it starts and where it goes.
So $25 is not
It-
out of
I don't.
ballpark.
I don't think it'd be an unreasonable price
I don't
if
either.
somebody is interested in the nostalgia of having the street, the unique street signs that we have in Heath, of the street they grew up on or whatever. I mean, like I said, are we gonna make $1 million out of this? No. But,
We have to
okay.
pass legislation to put a price on,
I think you do that if for no other reason to get some advertising out of it.
okay,
Yeah.
so we'll.
Good legislation.
Dwayne
Good
said-
legislation to
We can
make that at $25.
What are you gonna do with the money? You gonna put it in the street fund or in the general fund?
Just back in the general fund.
Wow. He's thinking,
I
what
think-
can I do?
He's
What can I
like,
do?
what can I
Bring some money to buy the extra signs we need. We can
I put it towards the fire truck fund.
Oh, yay.
Let's put it towards pulling the weeds in the median.
There you go.
That's another fund we need.
We're gonna form legislation to make it $25 per sign, and the money would go to the general fund.
And then from the general fund, we can move it where we want to move it to. We'll move back to parks and
That'd be
streets,
fine.
I don't care.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Streets to buy more signs. I think it ought to be in the council.
Christmas fund?
Christmas party. Council Christmas party fund.
If you want, Doug, I'll give you a blank form. You can write it up, and then that way we can have it drawn up for June's meeting.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here.
Blast it on Facebook page. You might get people buying them before they're.
Make a great graduation gift for you know. They can take it to college with them.
Yeah. Don't forget where home is.
Make a bunk bed out of them. You make a loft then. Over them and put a notch in it, man.
Here comes
Set
the
your bed up.
creativity again. I tell ya.
I tell you, I did it when I went to college. I built my own bunk bed.
So which one of your girls is getting the overload for Christmas?
If you didn't feel that.
I'll send it to California. It probably only cost me $1,000 to ship it out there.
Yeah.
Old street sign.
I'll put a bow on it.
Okay. Any more on that one?
We wasted more time than that than you did.
Sorry, I got here late.
15 minutes on an item.
This has been
We're gonna buy something for $1
riveting.
million. Okay.
If there was ever a meeting to miss the first 5-10 minutes.
Honestly, as long as we have
Warm in here,
this
just
Remember these meetings are,
It's 1972 in here. That's not bad for this room.
remember the street department,
We might want to
last 10 minutes.
What street gonna get paved?
We're not paving any streets. People get mad
I
when you
just took
pave.
this out of the bid, so that's why it looks that way.
You see the, no, go ahead. I was gonna say that pluses and minuses, an advocate about paving, about taking 10 minutes in front of Main Street to pave the street and everything.
Well, I didn't see it. Was this
Oh,
Saturday?
Saturday, you know, the pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
They were complaining because it took someone 10 minutes to drive past it because they were paving, you know, in front of the hospital and this and that and everything on a Thursday. And it's like, when do you want us to pave?
Yeah.
On a Friday? When? I mean,
Yeah.
no matter when you do it, it takes so long to
I hope
to
that's
tack
okay
it,
with
to
everybody.
pave it, to roll it. I mean, 10 minutes is not any length of time at all.
10
Add that to
minutes,
your
and
agenda.
20 years later, you won't have to do it again. I mean, 10 minutes.
I mean, it's like, come on, people.
I know.
Of course, in Heath, it would only taken 5 minutes to get down the street.
All right.
Whatever.
You beat that dog, so we'll go on to the, oh, that's it.
This is just listed.
Yeah, this is the paving of the streets that we're going to do. And, you can read them yourself.
These are what we went out to bid on, right?
Yes, that's, well, we haven't yet, but we're getting there. We got the bid book done, and we're in the process of doing all that stuff.
Okay.
So these are the streets that we are going to do in that paving, as long as the price comes in for, you know, pretty much the same or less than what we had budgeted for. And of course, those top ones are mostly in Willow Ridge, and then there's a couple in Forest Hills, and then some scattered ones around the city. And Dogleg Road, remember, it's just part of that little road, but it's a lot of it is the parking lot at the street department, because we haven't done anything in there forever. Humongous holes in there, so that's part of that project that's there. So.
How far? Okay, 1,168 feet.
Yeah, that's because of the asphalt, the parking lot. Well, it's just more of the parking lot.
Okay. That's more than going back around that curve that falls back there.
Yeah, it only goes down there so far, then it's a private road, so we
Yeah.
won't be able to do that.
Okay.
Had that,
Yeah,
we
I
had
know.
that fight 30
Yeah.
years ago. So yeah, I would think,
When do you figure that?
well, it says right here, we had to be realistic, but we're trying to get it done before September 9th, but hopefully they'll get it done before that.
Bob, let me ask you a question. I'm looking at this. Maybe not. Are we not milling anything anywhere?
Don't need a mill if you don't have curbs or gutters.
Okay.
Most of the time, you never mill.
Okay.
All right, now some of the areas up in Willow Ridge, some of those are, something's gonna have to be done.
There's some repair work. There's some repair work in there. Then we've done a lot in the last 2 years. Up there.
Yeah.
Cutting
Okay.
stuff out,
Okay.
putting stuff in. But because of the drainage up there, you're never gonna have everything perfect. So,
Yeah.
well, you could if you want to put curbs.
Primary, the whole, all of Willow Ridge is gonna be.
All of it.
Yeah, okay.
Which I
And
think is
Beach
long.
Court and Elm Court is in,
Forest Hills.
Forest Hills, Franklin Avenue is from what they did
We're
from
going
the-
Franklin on the north side of Hopewell.
Yeah.
Franklin's and Heath, I think up to Betty.
Looks like those streets are getting dope.
Which ones?
Franklin and Beach.
Well, that might be because of what pavement, planing. Yeah, there's three. There are a few streets that are getting. In fact, I think they're milling the parking lot.
Dogleg Road, yeah.
The roads that are really, really, really bad, those are. But most of the time, you don't mill unless you have curb and gutter. But if you did River Oaks, you'd have to mill in there, because if you didn't, then it would be higher. We had to mill Wedgewood, you know, so that's why that is.
Can't have the
or
streets
the other
sticking up
thing
over
would
the
be if
curb.
the streets are really bad shape.
The
Then you
pavement
mill
planing,
at
that's
that.
what you're talking about.
And you got to put a little bit more asphalt on there. So, well, they got 1.5 inches there, but they may have to put some kind of. I haven't looked at this real close, but
Yeah. Okay.
they have to put some other stuff. They know what they're doing. So, okay.
And, it's out for bid now, or it hasn't been put out for bid?
The bid book is done. I think the
Oh, okay.
advertising has started,
Okay.
and then we'll have. I don't know what the date's set yet for the bid opening, but it'll be. I would say it's probably going to be end of this month or early June. We'll have bid opening. We're.
You think we're kind of pushing it to get it done before the school begins, or?
It's always more convenient if you can do it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
That's cool. That starts early anymore too.
I know. August, what, 18th or 19th is the first day of school?
one for
Well, the pool closes
On the 30th, I think, then.
when school starts. Oh, it's 30. The pool closes, so I don't know what's
18.
that Sunday.
Yeah, I think first day of school maybe is the 20th or 19th or something.
19th or 20th.
That's unbelievable.
August.
Yeah, August.
Okay. We're starting to mow the right of ways. We got a late start on that. That's one we are down a man from what we had last year at this time, and also our John Deere PTO shaft broke, so that kind of stopped us in mid track. So, I mean, if I had it my way, the right of ways would look perfect. They grow too high. I don't like how they look. I don't like how it looks after we're mown. Way too long, but I guess there's not a whole lot I can do about it right now. But we'll end up getting caught up at this time of year when things grow. Things just don't look as good as it used to. I did have a question I was going to ask John today. I don't know if I said something not there. Maybe some of you know. From the 79 project in Radian Drive, I've had a couple complaints that supposedly the right of way on Radian Drive going down the hill off of 79, nobody's mowing that. I haven't been told that we're supposed to mow that because we never mowed anything there before. But maybe that's something we have to mow. Then we took that. They planted some pine trees down there, looks like, and nobody's mowing down there. So is that all of our responsibility to mow that?
I can check on that for you.
Okay. But if you go down the hill to the right, I don't know if you ever.
Yeah, and then you make the bend.
There's some pine trees they planted there. And there's this real old, ugly-looking pine tree that they left there in the middle, and it all needs mowed. So I didn't know if that's something that we were supposed to do, or exactly.
I can check on that.
That's where that house was taken out and everything. So.
You know, I guess. I mean, the grass was growing last year too. Did we not do it last year either?
We never did anything. We never did anything.
Okay.
I was sent down by John, which I ended up doing myself, to mow around that house. Well, when the house was still there, and I assume we had to purchase the property, right?
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
So I went down and mowed that a couple times, but.
I wonder if we
Did
have
they use their
control of
first
that yet or not.
No.
The plan, you know, what I mean, because the
I don't
ODOT
believe-
bought it, if they didn't transfer us and we didn't turn it to right away, if there's a deed, you know.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that ODOT has handed everything over to us. I don't believe they've done that yet.
Send them a letter, make them put mow it.
That's what we might have to do. It's not our responsibility. That's what we might
Yeah,
have
and
to do.
this property that's down there, there's no reason for us, is there a reason for us to have that property? I mean.
Talk
we
about
don't
in
have to
between where it
maintain
is now and where it used to be.
Or just where those pine trees are. I mean, is there
Oh.
a reason why we have to own that?
It's probably personal.
Couple of tax codes.
There's
This property tax is moving on.
there's
We own it, right?
You
We
can
own it.
enhance.
now, okay. I know when you go when you start to go down the hill of Radian, and you make that bend to the right.
Right.
We have a
Properties on 7.
a dry well.
Okay,
There.
yeah, I remember us talking
Okay,
about
so
it.
is that what you're saying? Is that the area that's not mowed?
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of new pine trees planted in there, so that had to have been part of the project.
And
So who planted the
so-
pine trees?
Did the state plant them or did
I
somebody
guess it
else?
was part of the project.
Might enhance
So then
the value. If the state still has it,
then-
and they haven't given it to us, then they better do something
Well, I
about
know,
it.
see, if the state would have bought it to have the right of way to bring that road through there, they would have acquired it. And I'm not sure how the deed was written, is warranty deeds on that, whatever. And if they haven't turned it over to us yet, okay, as a city, then it's still,
The
like
state's
ODOT,
property.
or the ODOT bought it for the city, Heath, or whatever. I'm not sure how the tax duplicate looks like on it and stuff. But if it's all gonna be right away, we need as quickly as possible, make it right away so we don't have to pay taxes on it. Otherwise, we're gonna get a tax duplicate on the stupid stuff. Bert gets them all the time for things that happened and no one ever got them, you know, switched. Because you have to pay in arrears on the tax duplicate, so you're, you know, when you first get it, it costs you, you know, a few $100 or $1,000 or so. You know, some properties and stuff, yeah, and stuff. But get that turned over, you know. if it's gonna be right of way. Then if it's right of way, then the person that's next to it actually can maintain it out to that area, you know.
I've
If
got
it's a
some
huge piece
things-
and we sell it or something.
And again, I'm trying to stay on the same page of exactly what piece of ground we're talking about. But when you go down the hill of Radian on the right-hand side, I make that bend.
Yeah.
I know that we put a dry well in there. I have got to assume that we did not put that dry well on someone's private property.
Right.
I've got to assume that that dry well would have been put on right-of-way property. So I've got to assume that either now or in the future, we will be responsible for that area where the dry well is as you go down the hill on the right side of the road. Now, on the
What about
left
the left
side of the
Yeah,
road,
that big
in
area.
between where new Radian is and where old Radian is, I don't know. That was the staging area for ODOT. ODOT bought that land as part of the project.
And I just hear rumors from people that are talking about stuff, and they're saying that maybe we might even own up to that. Isn't there a sells gold or something? What's on the other side of that restaurant there? Or what's when you go down Radiant? I can't remember. What's there now.
Where Billy Lee's is?
Yeah,
But
there's some other.
It's a gold
Business.
mine.
So,
Yeah.
go by.
I heard that maybe the city might own up to that in the back.
Yeah, there's like a big area
Yeah.
between the two radians and the businesses on. We just need to look at the Licking County's website for
Yeah.
tax maps.
All right.
See who
So
owns it.
why don't we talk to John tomorrow and
Okay.
start working on that.
All right. So hopefully we'll get the right of way back and the new ones if we have. And then we're working with the Port Authority on that right of way on James Parkway, the new James Parkway, because they used to mow that. Now they want us to mow the right of way. So that's something else we have to do, which we have less time. Did get a complaint on some potholes on Thornwood Drive. Of course, the guys haven't been out looking at stuff because they're putting up big signs, so they haven't done anything. But we did go out there. But I went out there myself, and there were some potholes out there. We are still scheduled to pave that next year.
Next year.
Okay. So we won't do any major repairs on there, but that's starting to break up a little bit. And that's all I have. If somebody has something else.
What about the median?
The median, you want to explain that, Keith?
Yeah, I had that on my agenda.
Political.
The council passed ordinance 3513 that authorized and directed the mayor to advertise for bids for the maintenance of this 79 median. On bid opening day, I found out that they kind of did invitations and contacted landscaping companies locally, but did not advertise. Since we didn't advertise, I did not open the bids. And there was only one bid, and I returned it to the bidder unopened. And I've got a legislative request that
So it's gonna be a while. It's gonna look like absolute crap.
authorize and direct the mayor to advertise seeking proposals for landscaping services in the 79 median, repealing ordinance 3513. Now, I've basically thrown this ball back, I guess, to John. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I just wanted to get, I don't know why we had to go out for bid. I don't know why we just didn't get proposals and get them, because you don't have to bid it. So I didn't really understand the whole process, but I was like, that's what he wanted to do, go ahead. So that's what he did.
Anyway.
And then I don't know why then it wasn't advertised after that. I don't know if Lynn was supposed to take that and just automatically say, hey, let's.
Lynn didn't even know it was going on. And John mentioned to me that he probably should have known better, and anyway, but John kind of said that, okay, throw this ball back to us, I think you and him combined, and I guess if I were gonna advise you, I'd suggest that you seek proposals that include prices. And I don't, but let one of these companies sell you on it. John's real concerned about the warranty on some of the plantings. And I don't know how valuable a tree, one of those trees, half of them are dead,
Yeah.
roughly.
There's 6 of them.
Anyway, I don't know if those trees are $35 trees or $5,000 trees. I have no clue. I don't know that kind of stuff. But I think what I'd do is I'd find somebody that's kind of an expert in that, in landscaping, and let them sell you on what they'd like to do, and kind of turn them loose.
John was scared to do anything in there because of the warranty on the trees.
Yeah.
There was warranty on the trees, so he really didn't want someone to go in there and do anything until. But and he has told me that he has called ODOT, and the people that they got to plant the trees hasn't responded or hasn't come out there and looked at them. And that's kind of what he's been waiting on. Meanwhile, it does look horrible and it's embarrassing, and that's my opinion. But we're kind of in this limbo stage with it, I guess.
I've got the price of those trees at my office at work, because I printed out what they bid for each one of them. I should have brought it with me tonight. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I want to say maybe like $278 or maybe more than
Something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am clueless. Don't have an idea.
4 and 6 inch caliper trees. So,
But even the, I don't know. I kind of cringed. I thought we were going to see some kind of spring flowering something.
Yeah.
And I mean, the ones that are alive didn't flower or do anything. I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed at all.
You need to get one of these landscapers who have a degree in agronomy and knows plants and knows what needs to be
hopefully
done.
we had all that figured out when we did
Island.
the medium in the first place.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
the problem is, all those, they're all under warranty, they're all gonna have to be replaced. And John, he's worried to have to bring somebody in there and then say, well, you did something, you know.
And maybe ODOT hadn't turned that over to us yet either.
Or they haven't.
So,
We need to.
maybe
tell
we're
them
not
to
even
do it.
allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
Somebody
it's just-
needs the weed.
Someone needs to weed it.
Yeah. It would be.
All right, so let me do this. Let me put a call in tomorrow to Joe Rutherford. I'll just go straight to the top and work down.
John's
Work
might
on
have done
getting
something.
some
All I
answers.
can tell you is what John has told me that he's done, and he kind of told me he wasn't getting a response, or they weren't getting a hold of this guy. He did.
Well, then that's when I need to be told, so that I can start making calls.
See, the ordinance says median landscaping maintenance, the one mowing, it's maintenance of the daggone thing.
Weeding and watering and that kind of thing is what the
It says
intent of the word maintenance was.
But anyway, I deemed that the bid process was foul because we didn't advertise. So I decided to not accept the
And
bid.
Keith talked to me about it, and I agreed that it was not in our, it was not advisable for us to open up bids when we didn't follow
Yeah.
to the letter the procedures for a bidding process. But I also agree with Keith in that having an opportunity to reflect, and hindsight's always 20/20, but if you can take advantage of it, fine. I think it makes sense, rather than to have a bidding process and like that, to seek proposals, to seek ideas. Let these companies pitch not just a price, but a
Vision.
yeah, exactly. And
Well, the
we'll go
vision's
from
already there. The design's there. You want someone to come and design a whole new medium for us? I don't know what you're saying.
We don't want.
Yeah.
Huh?
I guess the vision
No,
would be,
no,
do they
that's-
come in once a week to weed, or twice
No, that's
a
already
month?
in
or-
there. That's already all in there. That's in the specs of the whole thing. You come in and you weed twice a week, you do this, you do this. That's all specified in there. It's all specified. All that's done.
Specified in what?
The
In the
prob-
thing that he had out?
The things that we drew up these specifications for. Now,
Okay.
for when they give us we sent these out. They sent them out, but I didn't know that. First of all, it just screwed up. I would have never went out for bid, but that's what John wanted to do. So I go ahead, John. That's what you want to do. So that's what I let him do. But I helped do the specs for what they needed to do, because based on what we did the Shea House before and what I knew needed to be done, because we talked to that department head meeting, because they said, well, we just need to weed once a month. No, we don't. We need to weed twice a month anyway, because those weeds grow fast. I know. You know,
part of the problem with it too, and perhaps this is what I said, Keith, perhaps one of the reasons why we only received one bid, is that John also is concerned about the warranty on the plants, and he's justified in being concerned about that. So if ODOT says, we don't want some know-nothing nobody messing with these things, and then saying, oh wait, it's dead, we want the warranty to replace it. I mean, there were one or two stipulations in there where I thought, is there somebody like this even in this area? Is there anybody that has credentials like this in this area?
Certified arborist.
Yeah, certified arborist. Maybe we do. I suppose we probably do down at Dawes, but
That guy is. The guy at Dawes.
so anyway,
He's probably looking for a side job.
yeah. So, but again, you got to be concerned about that. If there's a warranty on the trees and the plants, and ODOT's saying, well, this is what we want from somebody who's maintaining it.
well, I think John will tell you that we sent. I think because he asked me for companies that I knew, so I bet he sent out 6 to 8. Contacted 6
and
or
we
8
got
companies
one.
and sent that
And
paper
we got
out,
one.
and then we got one back from him. And
Now
I
we
had
know
some-
that there's plenty more companies in this area that can pull weeds and water.
But
So
see,
there's things in there that they were like, we can't do this, or we don't have the
Or they don't
qualifications.
want
Well,
to.
some of them they don't want to. They don't want because it can be labor intense, and it's like they don't have enough people to do it.
Right.
You know, when we did the Shea House, Albans was about the only ones that even wanted to tackle it. So because it's labor intense, you got to send a crew out there, and more than once a month, and so that's. But I think we did all those things. The only thing we skipped, which I don't know why, if we're going to advertise for bids, I don't know why bids weren't advertised.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't understand that part of it. So that's. But everything
Human
else
error.
up to that point,
Human
everything
error.
up to that point I think was done okay. But
Well, should we wait till you check with ODOT or with someone out there to see who planted them or who's supposed to take care of to see if maybe
Well,
they
what
have,
concerns
you know,
me
for
is
the year,
if somebody, if this company is not getting back to ODOT, if that's what ODOT is saying, well then, okay, somebody else at ODOT higher up needs to start putting some pressure on. I mean, that's just.
well, they need replaced immediately.
And I'm sure that in the ODOT world, our trees in our median is way down on the pecking order, and so that's why I need to call to try to push it up a little bit.
Well, they planted those trees theoretically at the optimum time, waiting until, I think, late fall.
Yeah.
Does that mean that we need to wait till
Well,
late fall?
that thought crossed my mind
Yeah.
because they may tell us that.
Anyway, it looks like, it doesn't look so good. I was hoping to be like, oh, wow, this looks good, and it just doesn't.
Right at this moment, it doesn't.
With nothing else,
But I think John is working on it. I mean, I really do. I think he's made calls and stuff, and that's all I know from that end. So.
we will adjourn at 6:09.
So you're going out weeding tomorrow then?
Really thought about
You
it.
would-
I drive by before everything.
You need an orange vest, Bob?
We would be,
Couple of them. Flashing lights.
Yeah.
we
Need a shovel to lean on,
So
Bob?
is it part of
I might need to see if Chris May will help you. He can do the one in front of Dairy Queen.
Oh man.
That was
Jackie.
okay.
All right, ready to go right into the next one?
Yep.
We will call to order Parks Recreation and Davis Shea at 6:09.
All right. First thing on the agenda is remember we had a storm last year, went through, and we lost some umbrellas, and we did lose some small trees that we had planted in our little median. And also we lost a door that was open when the storm came through and slammed it and messed all that up. So the total amount of those three things was $11,487, and the breakdown was the door was $1,487. The umbrellas were $9,050, and the trees were $950. So that's a total of $11,487. We have received that money from the insurance company, and I have a legislative request to take that money that's within the pool fund and put it into different accounts in my pool budget.
Yeah.
Did we just get one big check, Keith, for all that and it went in, or is that what it was?
Yeah. We actually got two big checks.
Yeah.
Seems to me that one was $52,000,
Something in the 50s, I know.
and then we got another 20 for loss of income. Wasn't it 20?
It was around 20.
Do you need that money switched, or
That
is
was
it already in the
pool fund, right?
Oh, it already, okay, I didn't know if
We
you
just
needed,
left it in
When
there.
it came in, we put it in the pool fund.
okay, I didn't know if you needed anything, legislation to do that.
Well, I run out of money, I need something. So, yeah. All right, so that's but I think Craig, I think he had picked them up late last week and started installing them, and the doors in. And I think everything's there, so we're all done with that. We are filling the pool
Storm damage
right now.
insurance proceeds.
I didn't go over there today. I know Craig
Trying to take
does
care
that
of
stuff
this
on
stuff.
Sunday.
I know that's coming.
So, there were a
didn't
few
get
little
them out,
problems,
so you
but I
didn't
think
tell
he's
me.
corrected those, so we should be up and running right now as far as, the pumps and all those things going on, so. We started filling that on Thursday or Friday. We painted the striping for the lane markers in the pool. We had to wait for that to dry for a few days, and then we started filling the pool, so that is completed. A pool membership to show the difference between last year and this year, and Heath and I discussed this today. You know, it's about $3,500 difference from this year to last year. We're $3,500 ahead of last year. So
We're
in
up?
that vicinity.
This is up.
Yes, we're up. And we are.
You missed the discount.
That's why I'm waiting.
We didn't tell Tim about the discount.
I lost out on the $10 discount, so
Yeah.
I'm holding out. You don't have my money for an extra month.
We have brought in $48,925 so far.
48,925.
I'll wait for a coupon.
$48,925. And last year, which they can vary. I mean, Keith and I, we're close to that. It's around 3,500. What you had, wasn't it, somewhere in there? So in that vicinity.
Yeah.
I had last year that we brought in 45,520. So that's the difference between that. So that's good. That's good. So we'll see how the rest of the summer goes. Hopefully, it's really hot. It's hot right now, so
I know.
I like the people that miss the discount, but they come in May 1st and start buying their memberships. It's like I would wait a little bit to show that. Whoops. Yeah. But so that's going good.
When is it opening? When do
June
you
1st.
close?
June 1st.
And then closes.
August 18th.
Yeah,
June
Sunday.
2nd. You make a lot of money. Think how much money you'd make.
Sit everything
Open
down.
and close on the same day. You got all that membership money. You don't have to use anything. No wages.
Glad I wouldn't be working at the front desk on June 3rd.
We have volunteers who work June 3rd. We'll be good. So that's going good. The employees are hired at the pool. We're probably still waiting for a few to make sure they're going to work there. Some of the college kids, but with this, everybody being on semesters now, people are coming in, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, not only now do we have, when people complain about why we're not open on Labor Day weekend, I mean, not only do we have high school students now back at school, we have pretty much all the college
Yeah.
students now back at school.
Yep.
Everybody. Yeah, so.
Teachers, I mean, all our employees are students and teachers, basically.
Yeah.
So that's just, we have nobody to work. And then Ann Clippinger will be the manager, and Rhonda White will be the assistant manager. And they're both veterans, and it gets stressed a little bit, but we're working through that. When I get a 20-page email from her, I know she has some things she wants to talk about. But they both do a really good job in there, hard workers, so definitely have a good season. Our volleyball and softball leagues have started, and looks like the money's coming in on that, so it looks like they're going to be pretty full again.
And what about the softball? Did you say that's every night? How much often?
Last year, I think we played every night. We didn't play Friday night. I think it's Monday through Thursday. And the softball started to come back a little bit more than what it was. The church leagues have carried us, on Mondays and Tuesday nights. I mean, they're still big playing softball. So I think we're in 4 nights. The co-ed was here and there. It kind of went up and down over time. So I can have more information for you when we find out everything.
Is there any place else for adult
I don't think
softball
so.
anymore?
I don't think so. Levin,
So how about up in Newark there at the end of Country Club?
Yeah, all
That's
got
north-
converted to
that's
North Newark. They
Little
sold
League.
the city of Newark sold it to North Newark, or leased it to them.
So they have
converted
Little
those to
Leagues in
Little
there.
League fields.
Oh, okay. So they play pony there or something?
Little League.
Oh.
I know the library bus hasn't played in years, have they?
No, they haven't had anything.
Wow.
What a-
And I don't even know
Amazing.
about North Newark, because everything is going away from recreational leagues now. It's all travel ball. So I don't know how North Newark, since my kids are out of Little League now, I don't know what's going on, but I would think that their numbers will start to dwindle a little bit if everybody's playing travel ball.
The numbers are still up there. They still have lots of teams. They got the T-ball. And,
T-ball's
all
real
that
big
stuff.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
say, you just go younger.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how our Heath Little League is doing.
Pretty soon they'll have, cradle ball or something where you roll your 1-year-old out there in the stroller and hit it for
And you
him.
push them around.
Yeah. And grandmas and grandpas will go crazy.
They'll be out there arguing with each other.
I hated T-ball.
Get out of the line.
I hated it. I did. I despised it.
I do too.
But the kids look so cute in their uniforms.
And Bob, everybody's safe. Isn't that great? Everybody's safe.
That's the way it should be. And having that mother in the dugout,
And they don't count the runs. My grandson won every game he played.
Did we win? Yeah, you did.
What again? Man,
You scored the winning run.
you're a killer.
27 Yankees and Bob's tires.
Chase played 2 years and Jake played 1. That was enough for a lifetime. So that's all I have in the parks. Somebody else has something.
Anybody else have anything else for parks or questions?
I just want to mention I was over at Geller Park yesterday morning, and I thought the park was looking in good shape.
I think it looks pretty good
Yeah.
too. The grass, we keep one guy in the park all the time, and we always hire someone new early, like in April, to help us get the pool ready. Craig spends all his time over there, and then Ronnie, he goes and works on the outside of every place. So he has sometimes a helper, sometimes not. And the new kid is going to start on Wednesday, so we'll be back to full staff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to open up the big can of worms, but David Shea House, since they had the meeting in here with all the people and stuff, has everything settled down, or the
No.
volunteers getting along? Is it still feuding?
No.
I mean,
No.
no, it's not. It's not good. It's not.
No.
I mean,
Was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that we
That
had
we
that
met?
meeting here?
I'd say it's about two.
Yeah,
Two.
yeah, it was a Friday afternoon. I sat down with I'm not gonna say D group, a group of the disgruntled volunteers, and I've talked a lot with Carolyn, I'm sure, through all of this, and I've thought that Carolyn is someone who I think would like to try to find a resolution to this, and is a little more reasoned than maybe some of the others. And so she kind of coordinated the thing, and I talked to them and shared kind of the same information that I had shared to Carolyn before. In a nutshell, what I wanted to make sure that they understood was what is the city's authority as it relates to this. Jill is not a city employee. She doesn't work for the city. If they think that she's violating an Arts Council policy, well, guess what? They need to go talk to the Arts Council board, because we don't have any say. So I wanted to make sure that they kind of understood what facets of this we did have some authority on, which one area would be that this body and the city administration could determine if we felt as though they were violating the lease or the management contract. Okay, that's one area that we would have some input on. And the other would be the ordinance on the bed tax. And as I see it, those are really the only two facets of the whole thing that the city has, authority on or input on. And then, so I wanted to make sure that they understood that city government was not going to be the cure-all for everything they felt was being done wrong regarding the Arts Council. They needed to talk to the Arts Council board, because the Arts Council board controls the Arts Council, not the city. And the other thing that I talked about too is that for these people, and I think this is true, individually, for the individuals who are disgruntled, I can really only see three options. One, they can say, I don't like the executive director, but I believe in the Shea House project. I enjoy the people that I'm there with. I'll bite my lip and go volunteer. Or you could say, I don't like the executive director. I'm never going back there as long as she's there. So I'm just gonna not bother with that anymore, go spend my time volunteering somewhere else or whatever, and just go away. The third option would be to continue to be vocally unsupportive of the project. And I told him, I said, that could very well lead to the demise of the whole project. And I was I was honest with him. I think I'm pretty sure some feedback that I received was that the folks were appreciative of that. I think I helped clear up a few things for them as far as exactly how the city plays in this. And I know that if there were some who walked away confused as to what I said, there were others that corrected them, because I know Carolyn, they went to the Olive Garden after, and I'm sure they hashed things around, and Carolyn said that she helped to clear up if people misheard what I had said. So where it goes, I don't know. I know that it seems to me like the people who make up the Arts Council board are content with her being there. So I don't know that she's ever going to go anywhere. And if you're objective about it, which I tried to be as much as I could, that not everything about what the new executive director is doing or ideas, not all of it's bad. I mean, some of it's stuff that the Arts Council needed to be thinking about for a while. It just seems to me that the issues come down to an inability to effectively communicate with people, which is a pretty big thing in a job like that, and at least I feel so. And just a propensity to throw gasoline on the fire, as opposed to try to, calm things down. Which is why I voted the way that I did as far as her being the executive director after 6 months while I was still on the board. But that's what it is. And I said I shared all that with them, and I think they understand what the city can and cannot do on it. So if that answers your question, Tim.
I can add something. I have had several meetings too with some volunteers and citizens, and Jill has asked for me to have lunch with her and Carolyn Royals. We were supposed to have lunch last Friday and got moved to this Thursday, so I'm not sure what that's about. But I think that from my perspective, I agree with everything the mayor said. But the one thing that keeps coming up that I wonder if maybe we need to have sort of a harder look at is they're asking about the audits. And while, I agree that the Arts Council controls a lot of that, if we're putting city money there, we probably would, because I met Bob Evans with some of the volunteers last week, and they said, we brought someone in that no one knows from out of county, and we just turned the money over, and, how do we know what's happening? I know that if there's expenditures over a certain amount, that it has to go through Arts Council approval.
Board approval.
Yeah, but they said they know of one.
What is that limit? 2,000?
They said it was 1,500.
Yeah, I think it's
1,500.
Is it
But they
15?
gave me an example of something that they thought was a $3,000 purchase that they don't think went through the Arts Council, and so they think that she doesn't look at the policy book, which again, that's the Arts Council issue. But it made me think when I look at their budget, the same kind of thing that's going on at the state level with Jobs Ohio, because you're intermingling public funds with private funds. They're all subject to audit according to the auditor of the state of Ohio. So does that mean that everything that the Arts Council is doing with the Shea House then becomes subject to audit? And who's responsible for that audit? Is the city responsible? Is the Arts Council responsible? I mean, I think that's something I'd like to have answers from. I know you were going to talk to.
I think, I don't know who, if I was to presume who would be responsible for it, I would think it would be the Arts Council that would be responsible for their own. I know that the Arts Council Board has talked about having an audit. My impression, although I don't go to meetings anymore, but before then, my impression was that was their intention, was to have an audit done by an outside CPA firm. But I don't have any update. I don't know what date that they're going to have that done. I don't have any information on that. I know that they were considering having an audit, probably for some of the reasons that you outlined. What was the other part of that? What are the
I'm having an audit, if all the funds are now subject to
No,
audit.
not an audit, the,
Inventory?
the inventory,
Yeah.
thank you. I asked David Morrison to kind of take a look at something. The lease says that if the Arts Council basically ceases to exist, then the contents of the house become property of the city. That's clear. What I don't think is clear is who do the contents belong to now. If I'm, Joe Smith, and I donated some antique nightstand to the Arts Council, does that mean that the city owns that now? It seems hard for me to believe.
The way it's written doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, it would seem to me that right now, the contents of the house belong to the Arts Council. If that's the case, then I'm not sure I see where we have the authority to say, no, you can't sell that, or yes, you can sell that, or I don't, if it's not ours, do we have the authority to tell them what to do with it? I'm not sure that we do. And so I've asked David to kind of take a look at that aspect of it. Now, the management contract says that that they should be able to provide us with an inventory. Yeah.
Current.
Which that doesn't mean that after every event they should count every fork and spoon that they have, but certainly big ticket items should be added to the inventory when they're brought in, or when they leave, they should be removed. So we're trying to work through it.
I'm wondering if we could have a conversation with the board members to talk about some of those things, maybe if they could, and just to kind of mediate the situation a little bit, because we've got now the most positive people in regard to the Shea House who are not positive anymore, and I think it will result in the demise, as you said, because I think that, we have had negativity about the Shea House ever since before my time, and I think that if we continue to build on that, it's gonna be the demise. So I think that if we could somehow, we can't say they have to, but just say, wouldn't this be a good idea? Because the people who are supporting you, this has always been done, if there's an annual inventory, if it's a biannual inventory, I don't know. Whatever is reasonable, just to have something said, I don't know.
See, all of a sudden, we're back into running the Davis Shea House we were trying to get out of. And all of a sudden, we're some more active trying to run the thing than we have been the last 10 years. Now, are we gonna run it, or are we gonna have somebody?
Well, we have a lease in place that says that the Arts Council's gonna run it, so that should pretty well answer that, or else we could be violating the lease, which is not what I want us to do.
We've just talked a half hour about running the program.
Well, but
I don't want to. I think that fiasco the other time, hearing it all over again, because I'd heard it all before.
Yeah,
are we going to run it or are we not?
I think that,
and if we're going to spend time every time we turn around, and we need to get some real directions.
Ronnie?
Do we have somebody on the Arts Council board to represent the city?
No.
The city's interests?
We had 3. It was directed that it was best not to, so we have none. Well, I was on as a general member of the public, but because I was on council, that Bob and the mayor.
We had received opinion from the law director that there was a potential conflict of interest with city officials being on the board, because although this never, there was never an issue with it, and I understand what the intent of the Arts Council was back when it formed, asking city officials to be on board, to provide direction. When you're an official council member or whatnot for the city that's donating money to a 501c3 organization, and then you also sit on the board of that 501c3 organization directing where those funds go, there's the potential for somebody that wanted to take advantage of that situation. So, the Arts Council board right now, to my knowledge, unless they've added anybody, which I don't think they have, at least I haven't heard so. The Arts Council board consists of 6 people, which the minimum per their policies is 5 board members?
Yeah.
And then 4 out of the 6 are Heath residents. And our policy says that you can have no more than 1/3 of the board members that live outside the city, so they're also complying with that. Anything more than that, you probably have to ask them, because I'm not as much in the loop.
The other side of the coin is, what percentage, or roughly what percentage of their operating budget comes from the city?
The vast, I don't know what the percentage is, certainly the majority of their operating funds comes from the donation of the bed tax from the city. I don't know what the exact breakdown is, but I've got to think it's probably more than 50%, right? What'd you say?
What'd you say?
It's got to be more than 50%.
I'd say close to 75. Yeah,
Is that right?
2/3 of 75, I'd say.
All right. Any other discussion or questions for David Shea? Have we solved all those problems? We will adjourn at 6:37.
I think it's good to talk about. I don't mind talking about it.
I just wanted to know whether it was over with or still going on. So
Yeah.
I guess it's still going. I don't know. I mean, I don't.
I just don't. I don't know to what extent it's going on. I don't know. Is everybody all giddy? No. Yeah.
I didn't know. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Does say Park Training and David Shea.
And to get my mind off of that, I have these Sound of Music songs going through my head all the time now. The hill.
You know what? When I woke up this morning, one of those songs was running through my head too. Strange.
I do have a question, Bob. The other day I drove past the canal down here and I saw flowers.
Lions.
Well, that's the Heath Lions Club.
Yep.
Yeah, every year they do that with Canal
Yeah, they
Park
send me
right there.
pictures.
Yeah, every year.
Back and back.
It's awful nice that they do that.
Yeah, it is.
Send
Bill
them down.
Cisco.
Right on down on the pike.
They do a good job, don't they?
We might lose a few of them out there.
We get the Heath Garden Club.
Bring the
and
medic
Lions
with
Club,
them, huh?
and
The
Get
medic.
them all out there.
I actually saw them, was gonna stop and take pictures, but when I come back by, they
I
were
was
all
still in the
gone.
bed.
Bill Cisco was there with his camera.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I saw him get out of there.
Yeah.
You need one?
Is there one?
Do we have an extra one?
Yeah.
We have an extra one.
There's 3 right here.
Did you guys get one down there?
Yep.
I know that the volunteers might take Saturday or Sunday sometime. That's a long one. Probably went through it past you.
Hey, I saw your mom yesterday at the show, Bob. She was
Yeah.
sitting a couple rows behind us.
You didn't hold that against her, did you?
No.
Did you go to all 3 shows?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, trooper.
Is your daughter in it?
Emily was.
Different seats, or do you have the same?
Different seats.
Okay. Move around, get a
She
little
could be
bit.
one of those girls that eventually like steals the show. You know, like
Yeah.
she's not like the top billing, but she might steal the show.
She did a really good job.
She did. She must get that from her mother.
Somebody asked when we were in. I think it was Saturday night. Somebody said something, and Natalie says, "Yeah, I don't know where she gets the need for attention." And then Natalie looks at me.
Need for attention.
You.
No, she did a good job. Everybody did a good job.
They did.
They did really good.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
I'd be scared to death.
You're looking good.
Yeah. Was the microphone on Saturday working
You
a
know.
little better than
I thought
than
it
on
was-
Friday? Was it cooler on Saturday?
It was cool. Yes.
Okay.
Mayor
The microphones
was
were working.
trying to figure out
We don't
what
really have a
was
sponsor.
going on.
No, after the discussion with,
He was trying to figure out what was going
after
on
we
with
pulled the
the
bids,
So yeah, Saturday got
Look that up.
fixed. Saturday was more comfortable.
More comfortable.
So
And the PA,
asked me to do
microphone.
it.
I know someone,
Okay.
we cut out a little bit
We'll hand
sometimes
this
with
ball back
feedback
to
and
John.
stuff.
That happens still sometimes.
Sometimes.
And
No.
sometimes part of it too is that it seemed like people coming onto the stage, maybe the first word or two.
Yeah, they would.
They weren't flipping the switch quite soon enough.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but
if you want, you can give
But why does this company have that stuff?
I
You
know.
just had to yell.
Yeah, you project it.
project,
Yeah.
From the diaphragm, you have to come from your diaphragm.
You
Speak
want
loud.
Yeah.
pull that or?
No, it's already been approved.
No.
I mean, there's no reason to pass it again. There's no change between what I want to do
It was good.
with one vote for
You want to seek bids?
Yeah,
For the landscape.
yeah.
You just want to rebid
That
it?
one song where they
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, we're gonna rebid it. But I am gonna go with this.
kind of yodel one saying.
Pretty good meeting, that was a good idea.
Yeah, she did it great.
But, yeah, that's what we're
Wait.
gonna do.
I don't need
You're not gonna
a
seek
Wait a minute,
That's
Bob.
what-
Bob,
What
Let's
we're
go.
gonna do-
three or four Captain Morgans, and I think you can get them.
So really, I can't say anything.
We don't even
I think he can. I think he can. Yep.
About 12:30.
12:30.
Next
Yeah.
part.
So the warranty issue has all been.
That one.
Good.
Captain Morgan gets you rolling.
But we did do a good job bidding it.
Yeah,
So we
she
should
did that really good.
Yeah. Well, you were.
That was my fault.
What about the tree? What was the Scroggins? Was there? He was in like.
Everybody here?
Yeah. Yeah, one of Scroggins' sister. She's in my.
Brian's not here.
Brian.
Okay.
But he was captive on track. And one of the speakers was.
Hey, Tim, you ready?
I'm ready.
We don't really, next year, yeah.
Somebody started.
All right, 6:42, we will call Finance Committee together.
Because it's still under.
The legislative report, number one, we've had discussion with John, and he says we don't even need to do that.
Right.
So just X that now.
Right, we're gonna eliminate the first
Yeah,
item.
Please.
let me. Yeah, which I was just talking, and now I understand. Okay. Because of the warranty issues, then it's a 1-year warranty on the plantings that have been put in the median. Because of that, and us not wanting to do anything that might jeopardize that warranty or stray, from it, for this year, for 1 year, this is the arrangement that we'll have, which is basically just keep it clean, keep it watered, the stuff's under warranty. Next year, when the warranty is no longer in existence, the idea of the proposals, of seeking the proposals, which would provide, I think, provide ideas. We don't have to worry about the warranty anymore. The proposal, going the route of the proposal would make sense. So what we come out of this with would just be a contract for this year, while the warranty on all the plantings and stuff is in place. Next year, we'll have more flexibility because those warranties will have ended, and proposals with ideas on how maybe things could be better would be more appropriate at that time. So
So who's gonna?
for
take
now, we
care
don't need, well, that's what we've got to,
We are.
It's not part of this.
What we're going to do is Bob and I sat down and prepared a basic maintenance plan for this year, and only for this year. And we'll contract with whoever is the low bidder to do that.
Okay.
Is that right, Bob?
Yep.
Okay.
But separate.
We didn't need to add malls and
Nothing
stuff like that
associated.
this
No,
year.
what you
They
passed
just-
already
they
will
just-
cover, yeah, and we'll do the bidding where we actually advertise
So
it.
that ordinance that's in there will take care of
Yes.
what?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So scratch number one.
All right.
Number two, appropriate storm damage insurance proceeds. Again, it's 11,487 of the numbers within the pool fund. Capital outlay, $9,050. Services, $1,487. Materials and supplies, $950. Any other comments? Deb, any other comments? And committee members, everybody good on this? Third item, appropriate $1,650 from capital improvements, vinyl graphics for car 7 at the police department. Good from a Michael Black.
Well, that's on the graphics package.
Yeah. Came out of Brian's committee.
I'm trying to recall, did Chief say anything to you, Keith, about wanting to waive the second on this?
Did not say anything.
And I know that we can't, obviously we can't put the graphics on until this passes, and we can't have the car until the graphics are on it. But I don't, did he say anything in the safety committee last week?
His notes, Brian's notes here doesn't have anything. It just says.
I was thinking we said something to him about it, and it didn't seem to be that he had to.
Okay. All right.
We can, he didn't write it
double check
down
tonight.
here on his minutes for me to give tonight.
I'm just trying to think this through. We're not gonna get the car until that's done, and that's not gonna be done until this passes, so.
Say anything about waiving on the legislative request?
Okay.
Any other comments, committee? Next item, legislation to direct the proceeds from the police department's non-fixed asset disposal items to law enforcement. One of Brian's committee as well, safety. Any other comments or questions? Committee okay with this?
Just as a matter of point, it says to reword the city auction proceeds legislation. Is that what we're doing there on that part of it? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Directing the money to a different.
Okay.
Fourth item, authorize the disposal by sale of the city's old street signs at a selling price of $25 each, on a first come, first served basis, waiving the bidding procedure. Doug, this is yours. Any other comments?
I just think we need to do it.
Committee? Thumbs up on the old sign. Under other items, Standard and Poor's reaffirmed the city's bond rating at A+ on previously issued debt. Keith, comments?
Sure. The bond council, first of all, we don't use Standards and Poor, at least did not on any of the recent debt issues. We've used Moody's. If you recall, our bond rating with Moody's is AA2. But Standards and Poor had been kept sending me these questionnaires to complete for a bond rating, which I ignored until they threatened to issue a bond rating that was not very kind. So I called our bond counsel and asked, why would we request a rating from a service we're not utilizing? And bond counsel advised me to go ahead and complete their questionnaire, that it doesn't hurt to have a bond rating even if you're not using them. So I went ahead and completed their questionnaire and submitted it, and they reaffirmed the bond rating at A+. I've got a copy of their rating, and they similar to Moody's in the section of it under Outlook, and after interviewing me, they said we do not anticipate changing the rating within the 2-year parameter of this of the 2-year parameter outlook, given the city's anticipation that it will maintain general fund cash reserves of at least $2 million. However, if the city's reserve deteriorate further and is unable to make sustainable changes to regain structural balance, we could lower the rating. The city's status as a retail and manufacturing center with access to the Columbus area economy further supports the outlook. So that's a warning very similar to what Moody's sent us, that line in the sand that I've established at $2 million we need to try to adhere to. That's all I have. That's a good bond rating.
Anything else for finance?
Hey Jeff, you may have seen in yesterday's edition of the Advocate an editorial regarding House Bill 5. Last Wednesday, myself, Barb Jobs, who is the tax commissioner for the city of Newark, as well as on some committee for the Ohio Municipal League, and Kent Scarrett, who's a spokesman for the OML. We had a meeting with the Advocates editorial board to share with them our thoughts and concerns on House Bill 5 as it is currently drafted. I thought the meeting went very well immediately afterward, and I think that the editorial that the Advocate wrote about it was spot on. And so I think that I appreciate them understanding what is a very complex topic, and to lend their voice to the idea that although there is a greater income tax uniformity that could be achieved, and that that it can be achieved to the benefit of local governments, as opposed to some of the provisions in the bill which would drastically reduce revenue to City of Heath's local government and many others across the state. I thought that editorial was articulated the idea pretty well. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, I'd recommend that you do. Also, I know that I forwarded to Kent a copy of the resolution that this body unanimously passed against House Bill 5 as it's currently drafted, and he appreciated that. And of course, in the resolution itself, you directed the clerk of courts to send it to Representatives Hayes and Hottinger and Kasich's office, and I think it was Tesla's office. And I believe that she did that because Jenna was tracking down addresses and stuff for her to be able to send those to. So thank you. Appreciate that resolution that you passed, and just give you an update.
Anything else for finance? Turned at 6:54.
Can we talk about the meeting?
I can just toss it.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
may I-
Reopen this thing, or do you just talk about it?
You re-talk about streets if you want to do that. Bob wants to reopen the streets committee. Since John's here and asked, John, how much do you know about Radian Drive where like for the ODOT project on 79, the property on set, is that something that we as a city need to take care of? The ground on both sides of New Radiant and in between Radiant and Old Radiant and
Yeah,
all that
as you,
stuff?
And down there
Turn
where
it-
those pine trees are too, John.
right, as you turn into New Radiant, on the right, you have the area where the new pine trees are and everything. That is ours, we have to cut that grass.
Okay.
To the left, that property used to belong to Michael Moore, that's where they had a construction trailer.
Yeah.
But ODOT, in the end, purchased that, and it's supposed to be turned over to us, so that's ours too.
Okay.
So, and I, just this morning, I talked, you're not aware of it, I talked to Dave.
Yeah, I had talked to Dave about it some. He wasn't aware that we were supposed to do
Yeah.
anything, so I just want to get all that cleared.
Right.
So again, is that property that we want to keep, or we want to eventually sell?
I would keep it for one reason only. We always have to be careful of drainage in that area. And if we had to, we could use that property as a detention pond.
The property in between New and Old Radiant?
Yes, yeah, I would recommend that we just keep it for future use.
Do we need to turn it into right of way? I mean, is it, or
No,
Just city-owned property?
yeah,
we'll
it's
pay
just city
taxes
owned
on it then?
No, we don't pay tax.
We don't get taxes if the city
Yeah.
owns it. The city doesn't pay taxes, we just don't get taxes if we own it.
But, originally.
You better double check on that, because North gets a lot of tax duplicates for ground that is right away that never got actually called right away. If it's a deeded property and stuff and it was on the tax duplicate, you may get a tax bill for it.
If
City
it's,
North gets a
if it's
bunch of-
not right of way, you will get a tax duplicate because
Right.
you have to pay the Muskingum watershed fee.
Right.
So for every piece of property the city owns that is not right of way, we get a tax duplicate for it, and we pay some fee to the Muskingum watershed district. If it's right of way, we do not pay the fee.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is this property right away, or is it?
It's not right
I'm
of
saying
way.
it's not.
What I'm saying is, can we turn it into to public right of way there, so we can take it off the tax duplicate completely
I don't,
for public and stuff? If it was bought to put that road through and stuff, that little sliver, if it's not a buildable lot and stuff, I mean, I'm just saying in Newark, we're doing a lot of this. We're going through and trying to get as many properties off the tax duplicate so we don't pay the watershed and we don't pay taxes on that it was for a road or it's for
Wait, let me
drainage or
make
for
sure.
whatever.
Is the
So-
only thing that we pay, this where we're at right now. The city owns this property. This is not right away.
right.
Is the only thing that we pay when the county sends us a tax bill, or what looks like a tax bill, is the only thing on that the Muskingum watershed fee.
Yes.
There's no school tax, there's no fire levy, there's no nothing
The
else.
city pays
just the watershed.
just the watershed.
We gotta apply for that status, and we haven't, to the best of my knowledge, I've never seen a deed yet for any of this property, and that usually comes along sometime after the project is over, and maybe ODOT hasn't transferred the deeds to us,
There are
or?
a couple of properties on the project that are probably like that. And we would not have probably gotten the deeds yet.
When I get the deeds, as soon as I get the deeds, in the year you receive the deeds, you gotta pay the tax. And the following year, I can request a tax exemption, municipal tax exemption. Now, I make application for that, and they'll ask the questions of what's it used for, and if it's right away, I believe you're correct, that we pay no taxes on that whatsoever. But the point is, I haven't seen a deed yet, so we keep talking about owning this land.
Yeah.
I don't think we own it yet.
We probably don't. If you haven't seen the deed yet, we probably don't.
Which means do we have to mow it?
Probably so, because it's an ODOT's possession.
So it's an ODOT's possession, but we have to mow it.
Yes, because it's part of our project.
You told Dave where the border.
Yeah, we went
lines
to
are and
boundaries and stuff like that. So, yes, we're responsible for maintaining it. That's the bottom line, which isn't a surprise to anyone.
So has the city gotten a letter from John Groff yet? Because it's not.
I'm feeling about it. The problem is, I asked Dave to do so many things for me, I really can't give him something. Because he's doing everything else for me, he doesn't have time to cut the grass. I'm not gonna cause too much of a stink.
I think he was gonna take the regular mower they have down there and mow that, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, it can just be, just cut.
Was that big pine tree that's in the middle of those small pine trees? Is that a sort of something? Okay, well, I forgot.
I remember this now.
There's a little history there. The gentleman that owned the property, his name was Michael Moore. Apparently that was a Christmas tree that he planted years and years and years and years ago. There's someone else sitting in this room that has a similar situation. Well, when he sold the property, he asked if they could just leave the tree there. And the tree was fine at that time. The problem is last year, in June, when we had a huge windstorm, it blew the top half of the tree off. And now it's just a derelict piece of junk sitting there. So, if,
Well put.
But it's still a Christmas tree.
Christmas derelict piece of junk. And Charlie Brown would love it.
And I'm gonna ask Dave Pennington to decorate the next Christmas. But no, honestly, if we were to have the time, and we could remove it, we could remove it at our discretion. If we ever have time.
Okay.
You know, but yeah. It's a wonderful world.
It will probably
Good
go.
discussions today.
Yeah.
Awesome topic.
So is everything copacetic on
I'm good.
that?
I'm good.
Okay, so we will.
Maybe some symbols.
I'm gonna add one more thing to the streets.
Symbols of Michael Moore got
Since we got time.
That's right. That's right.
On 30th Street, John, since you're here, and Bob, since you're here, okay? Take a look at the striping, okay? And see if you're okay with how they stripe that center median and the drive lanes. Because there was a mess up on doing them
Justin called me today on
and
that.
everything. And I don't know what the remedy's gonna be and stuff like that, but
He
just to
said,
bring everyone up to speed, when they striped 30th Street, they weren't supposed to stripe 30th Street. They were supposed to be out on Cherry Valley Road. They showed up on 30th Street and striped it without ODOT knowing they were even striping. By the time ODOT found out they were striping, it was already done. All right, ODOT had done the temporary
traffic.
had done the
Hooked up was
temporary
nothing.
striping, okay, and made the center wide so that the stripers would have room eventually to come in and stripe inside that. The striping company came in, saw the temporary
Followed the
striping,
stripes.
and followed the temporary striping.
Ah.
So the center is a couple feet wider than it should be, and the drive lanes are a couple feet smaller than they should
I
be.
like the idea of wider drive lanes.
And wider drive lanes should be. Now the problem is how do you remove the striping and put new striping down? If you try to mill it off, you just kind of hurt the asphalt. Unless you mill it completely out, repave that area and all that kind of stuff.
But you
and
still
then
have a
just
line. You still have, right? I mean, you'd still have.
what I told Justin was that the same thing. I said, right now, we don't have heavy truck traffic that uses that road.
Yeah.
It's all regular personal vehicles for the most part. Rarely do you see a truck on it. So if your lane is 9.5 feet instead of 10 feet, it's not really critical. But the real problem is just what Tim described. They have to grind off all of that stuff, and when they grind it, we're going to leave a scar on your nice fresh
That's
asphalt.
bad.
And I think the way it is now is acceptable.
Yeah.
It's more acceptable than the scarring.
Yeah, and any big truck's just going to go over that line. You know what I mean? They're going to ride down the center and part. You know, I mean their tire's going to go down there.
I haven't noticed anything bad.
It
Because I go that way all the time during work.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed anything
Yeah.
bad.
I only noticed it because I knew it wasn't right. You know what I mean? And if you haven't noticed, that's what I said. If you haven't really noticed it, it's probably not that big of a deal. But it's just that little thing.
What's the width of the drive lanes in
They don't have
Newark
a
on
date
North
for
21st
shutting
Street?
down for the railroad tracks.
Well,
North of 16th.
There's another story. Yeah. Let's talk about
9 feet, I'll bet you.
It's gonna be open.
That's a
It should be open
game.
right now.
well,
They're not gonna, we don't know what they're shutting down.
Yeah. Let's talk about how that's always done, right? Yeah.
you know, 21st Street's supposed to be 4 lanes.
Yeah.
Okay, there's supposed to be 4 12-foot lanes is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
48 feet. Okay, we put 5 lanes in 48 feet. Okay, because you have the center turn and stuff like that.
Okay.
So kind of divide your 5 into 48.
So it's less than 9.5.
Yes.
Yes.
You
now
make
you
very
have the gutter
skinny
pan.
lines.
You have the gutter pan a little bit of the thing, you know,
Which
so
takes-
helps. So you got a little help. So it helps a little bit of the lanes and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. But I'm just saying that, it should be a minimum 10-foot lanes, and they really should be 11 or 12-foot lanes up through there. I mean, but we don't have the.
So what was the intent that there would be no turn lanes there?
When 21st Street was designed, it was designed for 4 12-foot lanes. Okay, 2 going north, 2 going south, and that's all. Then it kind of like we started adding traffic lights, and it's like people need to make left turn.
Yeah.
And everything. Well, all of a sudden you needed to put that left turn in. So then it's like, okay, how do you get that left turn lane?
Squeeze it in.
So each
Right.
one of them,
Yeah.
9 feet, 6 inches, 9.5 feet. Each lane.
But
only at when there's traffic light. We have the turn. When you have the other 2 lanes, it's just wider.
The green one.
but it's the right decision.
What?
Yeah.
As soon as they
The
left.
city of Heath can't
As soon
redust
as
the
the
streets and
folks
doors.
left, then
That's it.
Let's
Let's just put
oh,
an end
let's
to
move.
this. We know that the street.
Now the reason why I'm asking that question is because I don't like the tightness on 21st Street.
No one likes
It is not, particularly if there's not just a semi truck,
Oh, yeah.
but a dually pickup or whatever, or somebody not paying attention. You don't have to drift very far. I didn't say anybody. I said somebody.
Don't pay attention.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like I was saying something about you. I said, so what I don't want is the situation of 30th Street in Heath to be similar to the situation on 21st Street in Newark.
Yeah.
I know what John has said.
Yeah.
I would be interested in better understanding what the options are so that it's done right.
Yeah.
So if you or somebody in Newark's department wants to give me some information, I'd like to at least understand.
Well, the option is, there's only one option.
Yeah.
And that's to grind off the stripes and redo it. That's the only option. There isn't anything else.
Black paint.
ODOT does not have an approved black paint.
Well, it's that thermoplastic. Yeah, like John says, you mill up now.
Wait.
you can-
I need somebody, and I'm going to ask for some rational thinking here. I know that
That's
it's
not
hard
allowed
to
in
get.
here.
That's what I was gonna-
Leave that out there.
The contractor was told to do a job this way, to this quality. They did not do the job that way to this quality. Why does it need to be fixed and produce less quality?
Right.
The contractor screwed up, period. If you have to start over, the contractor screwed up, period. So why can't the job be done the way the job that was supposed to be done at the quality it was supposed to have been done?
The answer is actually more simple than you think. You have to mill off the asphalt. So if you don't want to look at the stripes, the milling, then you mill the whole street. If you mill the whole street and you repave the whole street, you're going to have exactly what we had a week and a half ago. Putting the whole city, the whole county through all that traffic mess again. So you want to ask yourself, do you want to go through that? Or do you just want to take a few, lanes where the striping is off?
Is that bad? Especially when school's going to be out after next
I don't
week.
think it's that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
I don't think it's that bad.
The other thing I don't know.
I don't want to have narrow lanes driving on 30th Street.
As a resident of that area.
You want to go through that again?
The question.
We just went through 2 years of worse. I mean, that was a walk in the park.
You want to put your name on that decision, but you
The
want
question
to
I
go
have
through that
is whether ODOT would
striking.
make them. I mean, would make them actually mill the stripes and the asphalt and put another layer through that section so they can restripe it. I don't know whether, and then if they did that, where they would mill at, that then would become close to where the drive lane is, where your tires would run. If you milled out far enough to catch all the stripes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might put the seam right there where you drive all the time, which may be worse. I don't know, but I don't know whether they would pay if Kekosine would then. Who would bite the bullet to pay for that much asphalt?
Who screwed up?
The striper did. Okay, well the striper may not get paid for what they did. Okay, but I'm not sure they would pay to come back and redo it. They may just, walk away from it, and then you don't have enough money in the contingency fund or whatever to do all that.
I find it ridiculous
It'd be nice
that you wouldn't end up with a product that you said you wanted at a quality that you said you wanted.
According to spec.
According to spec. I just don't understand why anybody would be okay with saying, oh, you know what, yeah, you messed it up, but
Because the correction is worse than the problem. I mean, there's no arguing the point that the correction.
if you
is
mill the
worse
whole
than
street
problem.
again and repave the whole street, it's
Oh.
the correction's not worse than the problem.
I don't know whether anyone would mill the whole. I mean, you're talking from edge to edge, remill the whole thing, and
What I'm
relay?
talking about is
Oh.
having a product done according to specs, done according to it was said to be done.
Yeah.
What if the lanes ended up being 8.5 feet? What if the lanes ended up being 6 feet? Okay, when would we be okay and when would we not be okay? That wasn't the way it was supposed to be done, and we shouldn't be happy with it.
Well, what exactly do you want us to do?
This is what I want to know the options.
You got
I
the
just
options. Those are the options. That's what we went
I
over
did
with.
talk-
then I'll think about it.
I just say
think
just
about
try. I mean, drive it and see what you think. I mean, I haven't gone out and physically measured the lanes, you know, and stuff. I mean, I drove down it; it seemed all right in the truck I was driving and stuff like that. But you know.
No one here.
See,
would
now I'm
even
going to get all
know-
lost
probably
with
knows
those
I have
ones there
that.
because I know.
No one here.
No one
would
would have known
even
if I had
notice
to mention it, probably.
if it weren't brought up by ODOT.
Well, look, but John, everybody knows that it's better to have lanes that are wider. I mean that's and again, I come back to they were supposed to do the job this way, and they didn't do the job that way.
Okay, well,
I mean,
you just tell us what you want us to do.
All right,
I'll check.
Common sense.
I'll say
Take
take
them all right.
I know. I'm telling you,
If they
We're not.
screwed it up, then I'd say they ought to fix it. And if it means milling the whole damn street and repaving it, then that's what it should be done. And it should be, Pecosi's the one that, who's the striping company? The striping company
Worked for
probably
Pecosi.
insured, so paid the daggone thing. The insurance, they definitely got insurance, and they screwed it up.
well, you know what? If I'm their insurance company and they just want to go mill or go stripe any piece of road that they want to anytime they want to, like they apparently did, I'm not sure I'd want to insure them either.
Where was the ODOT inspector? Did they have ODOT inspectors?
They were on the Cherry Valley Road.
They were out on Cherry Valley.
They were waiting for
That's
them.
what he's
They kept
saying.
going, where are you
They
at?
were supposed to
Where
be
are you
out there.
Who's going first? What's on
They're on
second?
their way. They're on their way, and then when they finally, someone said they're over on 30th Street, and so the guy jumped in the truck, drove over there, got there, and they were finishing up what they were doing. They were out there with no traffic control. There's no cones. The guys were out in the middle of the street doing
Well,
the
I
stuff.
did notice that part.
They weren't supposed to be
Was
there.
this on a Saturday?
Because
they were laying
it
striping on
Thursday.
Saturday.
Keystone Cops, man.
I think it was on Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
they
Still
started on
a
Friday
Keystone Cop.
Oh, is that
They said
right?
Friday night, whenever it happened,
And they did
they were
finish
waiting
up
on
on Saturday.
they were waiting over on
I remember
Cherry
seeing
Valley to get
the
it
stripe on
striped,
Saturday.
and they couldn't figure out where they were at.
Yeah.
They kept waiting. Then finally, they kept calling. They said, "Oh, they're here," you know. And finally, they went over there and stuff. And so then ODOT told them that they couldn't stripe anymore until they were notified. So Justin, that's the inspector out there, has to get called before they do any striping or anything from here on out. Laid out and stuff like that.
We're the one
Really
that
screws
screws
up.
up.
Yeah, of them. Yeah.
First fella, before
Yeah.
Sorry, I brought that up. We
before
got
they-
I'm glad you brought it up, Tiz. Thank you.
When you started
We were going to do it
talking
himself.
to
But then
Joe?
this traffic
Joe,
company came
yeah.
and striped the street for us.
I
And
will.
I got a bill, and I called Cocoa, and I go, what's this?
And the
bill?
next time Kokosi comes into the project,
He's just striking.
don't expect it.
I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Do your job right, John. Do your job right. The road's built to be wide enough to handle lanes that are so wide. Why should we be okay with a screw up?
Well, like I said, you make your decision and I'll support it any way you want.
55, we're.
We'll talk about. I'll talk to the
Yeah.
guys. I'll get some more
7:14.
information on it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Sorry about
Common
that.
sense prevails or
I know what I'm
SOSDD.
good tonight.
All right.
I know that can better than anybody can.
You gonna have a caucus tonight? sometime?
Yeah, we're gonna start right now.
Oh, okay.
Invocation is by Mr. Morrow.
I'll wait. I'll excuse Mr. Johnson.
Okay. And then let's go down to that unfinished business.
Did anybody ask Lynn on that?
No, I haven't left the
Which
seat
one?
since I've sat here.
All right.
I'll explain that.
Do you know that, John?
You know,
Yeah,
you
what
know
it is this. We typically approve something called a CAUV for agricultural areas. And recently, we got a request from the auditor, Lincoln County auditor. They didn't use the word CAUV. They used the word agricultural district. This particular person, Dennis Miller, we've always approved a CAUV.
Richard Miller?
Richard Miller, which is a county agricultural something or other. Well, when I wrote the legislative request, I put CAUV down, and I should have put agricultural district. So it was miswriting on my
Oh,
part.
okay, so
That's the only
typo.
change.
That's the only change.
We'll call it a typo.
So, and could you approve that tonight if you could, so they can get that?
So we just need to amend it to say agricultural district as opposed to
CAUV, right.
CAUV.
Yeah.
Do we have a,
There's a typo.
I didn't look in here. Do we have a,
Please note the typo on the.
Agricultural.
Yeah, you're right.
so we don't actually have anything in our
Spell
packet.
check everywhere here.
We did?
Yeah, it's,
Oh, it's, I grabbed too many, okay.
which one is it?
First one, 36, 2000.
Okay, so who wants to do that?
That's under Cletus, isn't it?
Cletus?
What's that?
On this unfinished business, okay, we're gonna need a motion to reconsider ordinance 36, 2013. And then once we vote to reconsider, then you need to amend it, ordinance 36, 2013, to say agricultural district. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we need to approve or vote on it as amended. So if you just make a motion first to reconsider, then make a motion to amend, and then make a motion to approve as amended. It'll take longer to do that than the whole rest of the meeting.
Yeah. So we're gonna hold 43 for a second.
43 is gonna, okay.
Yeah, he didn't ask for.
I'll do the liquor control thing, Tim, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm
liquor
requesting a
control.
hearing and then receiving.
Yeah, receiving file, okay, that's gonna be critical on that. Now going down to
44 will be held.
44, direction and vote for a second reading. And 45,
You have a public hearing on that, don't you?
yeah.
So what do you gotta do? What do you do on 45 tonight then? Since the public hearing's not until June 7th.
Read it, and set a
Read
public
and
hearing
make a
for
note.
June the 7th.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
She'll read it, so it'll actually be held to the second reading because it's of a public hearing on June 17th. So we actually can't vote or have
We
it.
don't have an agenda right now.
We can't get. We don't even read it again until the next time.
Tonight.
So we need to. That doesn't have to go back to planning commission or anything.
No, planning commission's already.
We're
You've already made the recommendation.
Recommendation. So we just public hearing then. So we're to be held second reading and then public hearing June 17th at 7:20 p.m. That works. Then nothing else.
Exactly what I said.
Get out of here before 8 o'clock.
Stop.
I don't know, it depends
Come
on
on.
how much.
No visitors
gotta
tonight.
talk about.
No visitors tonight. Hey, Mark,
Pressure's on.
Mayor, there's no visitors tonight. I don't see anybody.
I know. Moving on.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, shoot.
All right.